Sonic 3 and Knuckles is a game that I really didn't like for the longest time, being honest. I always thought it was a little too long. I never really found the special stages that fun, and I thought there was just a lot of like weird levels. I don't know, I just never really wanted to come back to this game. I found Sonic 2 more immediately fun. I just wanted to hop on Sonic 2. That's such a blast every time I do it. But Sonic 3, I feel like I would get to Ice Cap Zone, beat Ice Cap, get a little bit through Launch Base, and then just kind of put the game down. I just wouldn't really want to play it anymore. I really can't explain why. I just stopped having fun after that point. I don't know. I was like, I don't know. I just don't want to play this anymore. But recently that has changed, and all for one particular reason: Hypersonic. It literally cannot be stated how much this one addition transforms the game. And I'm gonna be honest with you, the reason I never went for Hypersonic in the original game is because I could never find the big rings. I just found it a little annoying. And so today, I want to go over my thoughts on this game and really get into how Hypersonic just completely revolutionized my thoughts on this game. So let's get on into it. So I do think the best place to start is my original problems with the game, and I'm gonna really state how Hypersonic fixed a lot of those problems. And I think my biggest problem with this game was that I thought it was too long. I know that it really had just about as many zones as Sonic 2, but let me be really real with you, the zones were much longer in Sonic 3. Sonic 2, the stages were about a minute to 3 minutes tops, pretty much, unless you were talking about Metropolis Zone, whatever. Most of the levels were pretty short, but in Sonic 3, most of the levels average around like 2 to 8 minutes. It's pretty long, particularly in some levels. So in short, I really thought the game dragged on a little longer than it needed to. Well, I don't know if you've noticed, but Hypersonic goes fast. It literally cannot be stated. It's insane. I know that he's overpowered, but it doesn't feel so broken that it's like stupid. It is just broken enough for it to be awesome. A great example of a mechanic being really broken, but also just right. It's just broken enough that it's fun. Has to be classic Sonic Spin Dash in Sonic Generations. That junk is ridiculous. It sends you crazy far, but it's not too broken. It's not like you can literally like skip an entire stage with it. It's not like completely ridiculous. It is overpowered enough for it to be fun to use, but it's not too broken that it like takes away from the game. It is just broken enough that it makes the game even more fun, and it's the same with Hypersonic. This brings the pace of the game up and gives you that mid-air second jump, which allows you to get on higher platforms, letting you beat stages way quicker. If you play through the entire game with Hypersonic, like already activated, if you just have a completed save file, doing a normal run of this game, yeah, you're totally gonna beat this game with like less, like it's gonna cut 30 minutes off your time, like definitely. And honestly, I know it's a weird thing to say that I would like a game to be shorter, but honestly, I do like shorter games, so the fact that this just brings the pace up. It's not that the game is necessarily long, really. I mean, that is my main issue, but to be honest, I think it's that the pace can feel pretty slow in comparison to Sonic 2. Sonic 2 was extremely fast-paced, I felt. It just felt like the game, you were just always going forward, full speed the entire time. There were very few times that you weren't doing that, and when you weren't doing that, you weren't having fun. In Sonic 3, you do have a lot less of the speed factor, I would say. You're going full blast less. The times where you do go really fast are basically just automation almost. I mean, you just hold right, that's about it. It's pretty much just spectacle, and I mean, yeah, it was in Sonic 2, but it actually felt a lot more beneficial there than it did here, which, you know, it's not like a terrible thing, it was just something I didn't like. And so it feels like Hypersonic here just really keeps the pace going. It feels like any of the slower sections that I personally thought made the game less fun just are now quick and fast. And since Hypersonic moves so much faster than normal Sonic, you also have to be much more precise with your jumps, which can be a little aggravating, but that is the downside to Hypersonic. He's fast, he's overpowered, he's invincible, he has a jump in the air that clears all the enemies off screen. I mean, he's overpowered. But his limitation is that you have to play well, because you're on the clock with those rings, and since you're so fast, you can't make precise jumps. When you're going 300 miles an hour on a dime, which, yes, can be a little annoying for some platforming sections, but to be honest, it's a worthwhile trade-off that adds to the gameplay in my opinion, because it makes Hypersonic actually have some form of drawback. It may be a pretty small one, but it's still there nonetheless, and you can definitely feel that in a lot of levels. So that kind of sums up my thoughts on Hypersonic as a gameplay style, but I think the real barrier to entry had to be how you unlock this guy. Having to complete 14 special stages just sounded like such a chore, and I always thought, Hypersonic, it can't be that good. 14 special stages? Like, I am not doing all that. I mean, little did I know I was gonna love Hypersonic, but still, I was really just not gonna go out of my way to do all that. I was gonna beat the game. And so when I played it, the most I would ever get is Supersonic, because I actually knew where those big ring locations were. And on the other side of that coin, there was another problem I was having, and that was finding the big rings. I know a lot of people praise this aspect of the game, exploration and all, and don't get me wrong, I actually love exploration. Colors is one of my favorite Sonic games, and that game promotes a lot of exploration, and so the exploration isn't the problem. I don't even mind that. But my problem comes in with that I think exploration isn't really done as well in this game. Maybe it's that it's done well, but I just didn't really vibe with it, because in Colors, it felt like the game would tease you with something, and you're like, whoa, run that back. I need to check that out again. It would do this a lot with red rings, where you might see a red ring, and then you gotta figure out, well, hey, how do I get that red ring? And while yes, you can sometimes have that with big rings, to be honest, the only way to find them is either looking it up or randomly running into them. I never really felt like I would find them. There wasn't really clues. They just kind of showed up randomly, let me be honest. Yeah, they were typically on the top path, but sometimes they just weren't. Which, yes, makes sense. They want to be able, they want to have the game set up to where normal, casual players will still be able to find some rings, but still, like, what is this? How is this exploration? So while, yes, I know it's a hot take, I really don't like finding the big rings. So you want to know what I did? In the modern age, I just looked that crap up, because I am not doing all that. That's right, baby. Ratio Sonic Team, I looked that junk up. I bet you weren't ready for that. Daggum! Jokes aside, I did look it up. I mean, I found a couple of them, but I just looked up a map of the full level, and, there they are. So I'm going there, know what I'm saying? And honestly, if you look up the locations of the big rings, you'll have Supersonic easily by the end of Hydrocity. Yes, I do say Hydrocity. Which honestly is great, because then you can play the rest of the game. Supersonic is fun, The game is better. And then, of course, as you're supposed to, you go to the little pathway in Mushroom Hill and you start collecting all of the big rings. Again, all 7 of them, and little did I know, I did not know there were so many in Mushroom Hill. Literally, you can be at the end of Mushroom Hill and have actually got Hypersonic already, which is kind of insane to me. But hey, more levels with fun gameplay, so applause. What can I say? So I know that it kind of takes some of the challenge out of the game to do it this way, just the easy route, just look it up. But hey, it made my experience more fun. So I'm gonna be honest, I would recommend this to anyone. If you have not played this game, please just look that junk up. I'm sorry, I really can't recommend looking for the stuff yourself, because on a first playthrough, you're really not gonna find many, really. Like, to be honest, what I would do is that I would play through a couple levels, and then I would just forget about them. Like, I would honestly just forget about their existence, because I just wouldn't run into them anymore. I wouldn't see them, I wouldn't be reminded of them. Like, literally the only time I would ever think about big rings again is once I got to Mushroom Hill and Knuckles hits the button. And then I'm like, oh wait, these exist again. And so then I'm already cooked and I can't get Hypersonic. Nice going. So honestly, there we have it. This isn't too much of a long video. I really just wanted to talk about how much I love Hypersonic and how that was my gateway to loving Sonic 3 and Knuckles. I really think it's a great game, although it's not that much better than Sonic 2. I still think 3 and Knuckles is slightly overrated at points. It's still an absolutely amazing game, and I would certainly recommend it to anyone, but if you're gonna play this game, you have to play it with Hypersonic. I can't overstate that. It's insane how much Hypersonic improves the experience and just makes the game more fun. I mean, I don't know what else to say. It just makes playing through the game more enjoyable. Just at the simplest, rawest level. You could get more particular and you could get more into it in depth, but that is the gist of it. It is more fun, and that's really what matters. So, I love Hypersonic, I love Sonic 3 and Knuckles, and most importantly, I love y'all.
W outro.
So, jokes aside, I really do hope all of you have a great day. God bless.